So the election, general election 2011 is over.
Yeah.
You would like to thank your voters online.
Take this opportunity to thank the AMK residents for their votes, for their support in getting us the 30.6%. Because given the constraints that we have in raising the money the last minute, as you understand, we only got the deposit money, managed to raise the amount, the desired amount, in the last 2 days.
Before nomination.
Yeah, before nomination day.
Yes.
So then the candidates were also from 2-3 different parties coming together. So this made things more difficult, and it's not coming together, having to resolve the ideas, ideologies, and okay, then we jointly say, okay, we'll go for it. And given the 9 days campaigning period with little financial expenses that we have, and we're able to garner that 30.6%, I think is due to the AMK residents, voters' strong support in putting the faith and trusting us, the faith, to come forward. And this is remarkable, which again, my team and myself would like to thank the voters. And sorry that this time around we couldn't again afford the transport to go around thanking the voters, but it is the least I can do. And back, Mr. Yap, in retrospect, how do you see my team, the AMK team, in this GE? What would you have in mind, if you were to, give your advice or whatever? What would you advise us, given that situation that we're in?
Whatever advice that I could give you that would be helpful, I have already given. Before the nomination and during the things were forming up, and also during the campaign time. What is remarkable is not only the what you just said, is that it's a general support and atmosphere. I can tell you, we are very proud as Singaporeans now that the country have awakened, and we are going into a new phase. It's totally different from the past elections. That it had never been so easy that last minute we can
raise
money, form team, share candidates, get nominators, get volunteer to be agents, and all these things are previously impossible is possible. Or I must clarify that not all the parties require this, because some parties are well established, well organized. At least I know that workers' parties, SDP and NSP, they have long history, they have experience, they have the manpower and money. Like NSP can deliver about 21 candidates.
24. I think they filled it.
Oh, okay. This is GRC, and then you have to add in the SMC. So not bad. And the people that come forward, they are not afraid anymore. The fear is reversed, because it's not the people that are fearful now. Of course, it's the Lee Kuan Yew family regime is fearful. That's why they have to apologize. That's why they have to tone down. They have to bite the bullet.
Now, I would think for the change of the political landscape, this is made possible by the voters. I think more remarkable or
patriotic
significant thing is coming from the voters. They have removed their fears. They no longer believe that it's wrong to do this, or they'll be blacklisted and be punished. Now the candidates who have come forward, this is understood because they must have been convinced by their party ideologies, the manifestos, to come forward to represent the people. But the stronger support has to come from the voters who have entrusted and put faith behind, support behind these candidates, We come forward, and my team, they also knew. In fact, I have two of the youngest candidates in my AMK GRC. One is a 23-year-old young man. Another one is 24, an undergrad, and still in the midst of completing his education. Now, why do we get people, such young people, who have suddenly, having the passion and think that they should come forward? And this is fantastic because it signifies the desire to make change.
Yes.
Because across the globe this time, around the world, everybody understands that
the wind of change blows.
Yeah, it's going across the whole globe, and people think that the rights is in their hand. The power is in their ballot.
Our country have a brighter future after this election. This is something that we can be proud and be certain. We are no longer in the dark ages, although there are a few facts indicating some little black marks, but I believe they will just only exist for this one last time. That is, of course, like Mr. Ng Teck Siong's team, candidates, nominated, seconders, and ascenders face some anonymous phone call
threats or pressure, or maybe.
Yes, threats of arrest was received. Although I think candidates are not afraid. One of the seconders chickened out. These are just black marks. We know that they're not the significant factors. You didn't receive threat.
No,
I have
I've been third time. I mean, if I had, then I wouldn't be standing here for the third time.
Yes.
And even my team, I think I've told them, be prepared for certain things, because if you read too much into the fear part, the factors, it's like you're afraid of your own shadows. Nobody can help you.
In fact, in the internet, there are people who demanded me not to highlight the threats received by the Tanjung Pagar independent team, because they think they want to let people forget the fear. But in my opinion, raising these black marks will actually trigger more anger vote against Lee Kuan Yew family regime. I don't think the voters are any afraid. They don't seem to be afraid, and they will be angry to learn about the facts that the sabotage to nomination of Tanjung Pagar GRC was actually due to anonymous phone call.
But again, I see everything needs to have the evidence, to prove. Now, but let's assume that if it happens that way, then the voters will then read.
You see, I always insist that I will not be the CSI investigator, Bao Qingtian, to study the evidence, collect the evidence. It's the people who hold the warrant card, the sheriff badge, to go and investigate and find the proof or otherwise. Now, we have the statements of the candidates. The telephone number of the people making this threat was given to the press. So we report it. We don't have to be the one.
I think that you have mentioned this in your previous video, right? So maybe we should talk more about the G itself, other than Tanjung Pagar. So do you realize, UncleYap, this time around, across the island, nationwide, the candidates representing the various respective opposition parties have come forward in bigger force.
Correct.
It's a stronger force.
Correct.
And even the voters' base, during rallies, you can see better attendance. Despite having, I think once on the final night there were 14 rallies.
Yes.
So it's never unprecedented kind of show of support. Never before. Yes. And then you look at the results. In retrospect, you look at this GE. Unlike other GEs, you have most parties garnering 30 or over 30%, 40%, and this has never been like this before.
Okay, there are two more things to add on to what you said. Okay, I think female candidates in the opposition camp also increase, and also minority candidates, Indians, Malay, non-Chinese candidates also increase in compared to previous elections.
It's a different sign now. You find the political landscape is taking shape in a different form, And I think the best thing to happen now is that now Arjuni has finally won by the
yes, we have
the
taken
opposition
down the barrier of
the impossible,
GRC.
removing ministers.
Actually, I didn't think it was impossible. It was possible. We didn't manage to do it then, but finally.
Yeah, this will add say a landmark kind of a
Yes.
victory. Yeah, and then the PAP incumbents, they are actually very strong. They have so many ministers in the slate of candidates over there. But I think the voters think that they are desperate for change. They are anxious for change. That's why they put in their vote. And this time around, Workers' Party will take the lead. And we are happy. We in the opposition think that more opposition candidates could go in to represent the voters is a plus point. What do you think?
It is something that is badly needed. Definitely have to be so. But I will say, in terms of number of seats in the parliament right now, as it is,
it's too small.
81 against 6 is still not satisfactory to me.
Percentage-wise, the PAP could only manage 60 points.
That's why you never see 60% of PAP seats, 40% of opposition seats. But
the imbalance.
It reflects that something is wrong. Definitely wrong. Also that we have lost our legend Potong Pasir.
Yeah, there's a pity. The unfortunate thing that Mr. Chiam this time round.
And previously we had two opposition party in the count of parties.
Two parties.
Now we have 6 MPs opposition, but it's just one from one same party. So in a way it is like a reduction because the variety of voice. Workers' Party is one party. They have their value, they have their angle, and they have their own attitude and philosophy. So there is something that Workers' Party will not do. So that is still lack.
I think that now we cannot rule out the possibility that in time to come, I'm saying the assumption in time to come,
yes,
the opposition could take place this other way, that Workers' Party would draw in candidates from the other parties, opposition parties, and grow, in strength, in size. Do you think so? And
I think it is already happening that the ruling party, Lee Kuan Yew family regime, people, candidates, members are defecting to the opposition in the whole past. Even before the previous election, there were a lot of PAP members joining parties like Workers' Party, and then from Workers' Party they come out to join opposition party. They are even leading. I can tell you 2 secretary generals and 1 NCMP. Okay, namely Mr. Chia Tilek, Secretary General Socialist Front, Mr. Goh Meng Seng, Secretary General of NSP. They were
formerly Young PAP?
Yes, formerly Young PAP. And Mr. Steve Chia, previously Young PAP. All right, they came from there, and they are the strength of opposition now. So no worry that the source of human resource actually comes in from the people, from other parties, and so on. And of course, members like yourself, you went across a few different parties.
Yeah, it's a crossover, and then when they need
parties,
me, they say, why don't you join me? And then I think
party shares candidates anyway.
Because if not for this reason, we will not be filling in the team, the AMK team. It will be an impossible thing. Even if you have the deposit, you don't have the candidates. If not for the goodwill of the various, the respective parties, in this coalition, coming together as a force and say, yes, we go in.
So I'm very pleased to say that, okay, GRC don't work anymore for family regime. The redrawing of boundary last minute, redraw many times, flip all this last minute changes to try to defeat gerrymandering, try to defeat opposition, don't work well anymore. So the fear don't work well anymore. dirty use of media tactics.
No,
don't work
there's
well
one point
anymore.
again that the incumbent PAP or the ruling party has always used this credential thing as the elite candidates in betting you and say vote for my elite team, and then we are the super team. And then, but this time around, you realize that the opposition parties have fielded more so-called super candidates.
Yes, but
and this is going to.
there was something that I was
against.
worried
Worried, okay.
before the poll, but I refrained previously from speaking. But now that the poll is over, I will give a few words into it. Is that I feel that the failure or the
elite
defects in Singapore, in Singapore's family regime, that come from one of the sources, main sources will be elitism. The elitism means the leadership come from scholars, ivory tower,
so-called.
yes, leadership. Okay, this led to a lot of failure that our people have suffered. And from that began since the era when Goh Chok Tong was Prime Minister. In the time when Lee Kuan Yew first came up to organize PAP, to come into power, they have people who are very down to earth, humble background, low educational
like they say
background.
Can resonate with the.
Not only they will blend with the people, they understand the people's need, and they come in the political path through struggles, not through academic achievement.
I think the good thing is because they are from the grassroots. They have the actual
Yes.
understanding. They are able to understand.
Yes,
how
and they come into politics not to expect a big salary or big fame or
you know how much was the salary then?
Yeah, very, very
500. I don't know.
Yeah, you have the figure?
500. Singapore $500 for MP. And ministers, I think that time it went up to at one point 30,000. I think Goh Keng Swee time was okay. But today it has gone into obscene figures.
Yes, our history.
200,000.
Our history is that we were in 1963, this kind of time, we were in a federation of Malaysia, that Singapore politicians draw the same salary scale, no difference from those in Kuala Lumpur.
I think maybe the British colonial masters have given us a structure, a pay scale, to work on the benchmark.
But anyway, that whatever British did, they are
so
not.
your point also is it's the salary that you have overpaid yourself, and then you have not addressed the problems, you have not done well in your duties, and there's no more moral obligations, social obligations.
A lot of our Republic of Singapore have been ruined in the hands of family regime through elitism, and I was very worried that looking at the trend of opposition candidate, that elitism will be another round of a continuation that if opposition take over from family regime, and if they're going to take this same path, we are going to sink deeper, and the correction will even come much later. Education is something that you ought to have, you cannot be lack of, but you cannot blindly overstretch and have blind faith with educational background and so on. Actually, in the life, a lot of things, your leadership, your vision and so on, it have to come from true real life career path and your
life
own
experience,
your own adventure. That in many strong countries, their leadership came from the background of power struggle, wars, recovering from disaster, like what's happening in Japan right now. All kinds of difficulties.
So in other words, you don't actually need to vote in a rocket scientist.
Yeah, you don't. You look at the world's leadership. You look at G8 country. How many presidents, vice presidents, lawmakers are PhD professors, doctors, not many.
So the academia, the intellectual, now if they can come in with a blend with they also come from the lower strata, their humble beginnings, they could be of an asset. But it's not just credentials alone, right?
Yes.
We're not saying that they are not coming to apply for jobs.
The typical failure come from family regime of Lee Kuan Yew is that they have this very plain background academics. They call president scholars, and so Lee Hsien Loong is one of them already. That are groomed directly without any test, any bombardment, no acid test, no test of fire in his career path. Just all the smooth things.
Are you saying that? Okay. Are you saying that then it's like a soldier? Your example is like
if you
have not fought in the war,
yes, you
cannot be a general.
Tested. You have to come from the heat of the furnace. Tested to be not
hands-on experience.
Not like I tell you, this Brigadier General Junta all having pacifiers stuck in their mouth and want to command the people and want to fly high. This is the problem. This is the exact problem of Republic of Singapore. No. This is something that we should not repeat.
Okay, could it be a case of the government in saying that it's like recruiting people for the civil service? So they're going based on your certificates, the degrees, and they say, okay, civil service, I need MD for this department. Oh, you got 2 degrees, 3 degrees, you come in. So you go on a selection basis based on this criteria. You are going to fail because that person is going to take a job, without heart. He's going for a salary. So we want to talk to people who can work with the ground. So actually, some of the grassroots, I think even in PAP camp, some grassroots leaders have become good MPs despite they're lacking in the paper qualifications. You agree?
Yes, the thing is like this. Okay, education somehow is similar to food or money that you cannot survive without. Okay, but you cannot blindly believe in it and have too much of it. You eat too much of a food, you're going to have high cholesterol, high salt, high fat, high this and that, and you're going to be sick. You're going to see the doctor. You'll be in deep trouble. You suffer. You'll be pain.
No, I think the point is because this education, the emphasis is so strong on paper qualifications that sometimes we do not examine and scrutinize the person's character.
Yes.
The quality of the person. Does he have a understanding? Does he have empathy?
Yeah, a lot of qualities that are not from the book.
Yeah, it's not just how many grades.
It's also like money. You may probably not able to survive without money, but then you cannot base everything
just on money,
based on
money.
Nothing else except money. Then you have completely missed a lot of important things in life.
Now back to this GE. Now I see a promising political landscape. I also see a promising future for the opposition and for the voters at large. Because why? We see the change coming.
Yes, I think the word opposition you might want to modify the word. I think it's a replacement regime that we will have to look at. It's not.
That may take some time because you were talking about 6 against 81. So this will not be an overnight change overhaul.
Don't look at that 681 figure. I tell you that figure. It reflects only that we had been shortchanged and deceived. You look at the 40% versus 60% percentage of vote in the overall. Another 10% you will tip.
So the resentment is very strong. So if PAP government refuse to acknowledge this resentment,
all you need, we have to move the percentage another 10% point
and tilt over. And
it's going to be tipped. Okay, so family regimes days are numbered.
Now
you have to look at the realistically replacement.
PM Lee had just acknowledged and apologized, and he's going to look seriously into the solving the problem.
It's too late. They never admit the fundamental mistakes, the bigger mistake, the biggest fault, where they are totally wrong, unacceptable, unforgivable. They neglect and look away. They just nitpick little slip up and apologize for that, and that you can hoodwink people. It's obvious that you are not sincere. You never learn from your mistake. You never admit your mistake. You just try to turn to a soft tune. admit on small little things like floods and little things. Your big problem, apologize for your salary.
Yeah, I think
why don't you?
Yeah, if you were the benchmark, you're packing that as a yardstick that you should be paid so much in doing. I mean, talking about the ministries, not just PM alone, the overall. Now, are you spending too much money on the ministries?
Yes, don't go deep into it, but just the big picture.
Now,
I want to give
you an analogy. Okay. Now I see this as like, okay, if a house, you get a wall, solid wooden wall, and it's infested with these white ants, pillars, and you say, oh, I know there are white ants in this pillar. Now don't touch it. I'm going to paste a new wallpaper, and that's going to solve the problem because that pillar will collapse and the whole building will collapse. So we don't want that day to happen, right? So how are we going to get rid of white ants? You have to do it, right? You can't just paste another wallpaper to cover up the white ants. So this is one thing that I think if the PAP government would take action, now that the election is over, they get into the right gear, get work done, solve the problem.
The reality is their dirty tricks don't work anymore. What they have been relying on to control by fear have been reversed. They try to control by manipulating media and so on. These dirty tricks don't work anymore. Therefore, they have to resort to nothing else but just say sorry.
Okay, UncleYap, talking about media makeover. Now, I'm quite unhappy about this because in our campaign, that given the short time that we got nominated with the raising of the funds in the last 2 days, and we managed to get into the GE. Maybe we got only 9 days of campaigning. And budget constraint and all that, posters came out late. We had to walk about in the mornings, in the evenings, meeting the residents. We have no time to do door to door. Now, even despite this, we were shortchanged because why? The mainstream media did not cover us. I feel it's a lot of this. I sense there's this blackout, media blackout. Now, but on the other hand, I see that the PM has been splashed on his image, photos all over the mainstream.
That is your competitor.
Yeah. And then it's an imbalance because one end, it's a lopsided competition. We don't even have a line we mentioned, the AMK GRC candidate said this with a picture, nothing, If you don't believe it, we can go search the paper. So I think I want to blame that the mainstream media, the mass media in Singapore is not doing its duty. It should give fair coverage. Now, if we're talking about competing in a ward like the PM's ward, if it happens in Taiwan, do we agree that it will be a highlight and at least if not the main issue?
Yeah, okay.
You'll be given.
I see, although what you said is acknowledged, okay, but they have improved from the past election. That all the mudslinging, whitewashing, and all the
assassination.
Yes, all these dirty stunts have, in a great extent, subsided. Yes, they have not give equal coverage,
fair coverage to
that is not no longer important.
Why?
From now onwards, what the government-controlled media don't have the absolute advantage position. That the new media will take over.
So, like internet.
Internet will be
videos,
the primary
YouTube,
media. Yes, that you from next election onwards you can neglect.
But this is only to a certain class of people, the young voters, electorate.
Yeah, no.
The older folks will not go to the internet and click and see what's in store for them.
By the time the next general election come, we will be maybe we will be the old folks. We are the internet activists, 50, 60 years old people. Will be internet intellect, and internet will be in everybody's cell phone. Okay, today I just got my first Android cell phone. It's in the wrong pocket. So the uncle, auntie will have internet right here.
So everybody can just go to
YouTube is here, Google is here, news is here.
All the media is all.
So this will not, it will not be SPH Media Corp. The percentage Media Corp SPH can influence people in the years to come. They have less and less power. Don't worry about them. That's my message.
Okay. So I think you talked earlier about the mass media changing its position in giving a fairer coverage.
They have been forced. They have been forced.
Now to tell you
they
that,
have no choice.
Okay, now I suspect that there's also a play of distraction. Like, what do you see? What do you think about when the media focus by distracting the readers and going to talk about a candidate's beauty as if it's a beauty pageant, instead of talking about national issues.
That is also two-sided thing. You see, if you want to sell the wrong things for politics through the media, you also know that it is the weakness in the audience who want to go this kind of thing.
No, but if you deliberately swing their attention, distract them and say, hey, let's discuss this about the auntie killer, uncle killer.
Don't worry about this anymore, because in the future you will have the advantage also that you want to put your attention, influence of attention to whichever angle. They don't have the absolute upper hand. So if it's over,
but this is also abuse. I mean, whoever can abuse this media, would then exploit this. At the expense,
but then they don't have the advantage because there's balance. Because when you have media, I have media. Everybody is able to do it.
It depends on how you do.
Yes, then it's just each person, each camp's ethic and style. So as long as nobody have one absolute media
for fair play, level playing field and fair play, I think it's good that even in politics we talk about political issues. We talk about issues that affect the people. We're not talking about a beauty pageant, a competition, a Miss World competition, and who gets.
Yeah, you see, in a lot of countries, for example, India, will be very, very typical. That movie stars become politicians, all right, and even in Philippines, President Estrada is
despite his scandals and
and then who's Ronald Reagan, Arnold Schwarzenegger, all these people, and then they have sports stars, and in some other country, war hero.
War heroes fair if they have done.
They have led war and make a political change.
Don't want an athlete, a swimmer, and then becoming a president because he can swim very fast.
Irrelevant advantage or something that's coming into play. I agree with you that actually it's two-sided. If there are people, the audience, the voters.
You still don't get my point. My point is that the mass media should not resort to such play up of.
Doesn't matter. They don't have the daily position anymore. But what we do is we have to remind voters or people that if you are really concerned of your country's future, you want political difference, you like policies, and then you have to focus on that and not on some other things that are not going to have any value input.
Entertainment value. Those are just for entertaining you
you
vote for the person for his or her looks and not about her.
We all learn that we don't get distracted by this because Arnold Schwarzenegger can break his Terminator. He can break people's neck with.
Can be a hero, a screen hero, but not in real life.
In real life, it's like hell,
He did a bad job, I think, as a governor.
The government of California, governor, he's a governor of California. The state government went bankrupt. The government don't have budget. They went shut down.
So we should be wary of such a scenario that you should take place, and then you play to this political game and make a word, and then the voters will regret in time to come. So I think end of the day is the rationale that people should be, or mass media will have the social responsibility to present the facts, to present the candidates' caliber or qualities to the public, to the voters. Right?
I still insist that the MSM you can play them out. The internet will be the primary media, and they will be they'll be tabloids.
So back to the G on hindsight.
Yes.
Now 81 versus 6. Now, do you think that the 6 going in would be a good force
I don't want
in
to
creating.
I don't want to raise very high expectation on them and pressurize. Whatever they promise the voters, let them perform their best. And again, like any party, it is a public position. They represent public interest.
Yeah,
so we check on the family regime PAP. We also have to check on every opposition, no matter what.
I think the opposition
let them do their job,
Okay.
and we monitor. And don't overly raise high expectations.
Okay. No, but I think to be fair, the opposition, the Workers' Party, with these 6 candidates going in this time round, would be Singapore's real representatives and not Arjuni alone. I think it should be that way. What do you think? It cannot be just constituency representatives. It should be for the whole of Singapore's opposition.
It is something uneven. Okay, it's something uneven because whole Singapore's people have expectation on opposition, but then it is the uneven is that only that patch on the map that you can have seats getting into the parliament. But look, the 6 MPs, Workers' Party, only control the town council in Hougang.
So
and
they
Arjuni.
can, that much they can do.
For example, I stay in the East Coast. Although I voted for Workers' Party, they didn't get the seat. So if I'm going to say my flats, the town council didn't do the job, it's dirty, maybe I can expect only a Workers' Party to raise something. But then they are not in control. They are not in control.
No, but that's only municipal township problems. Okay. Now talking on the bigger scale, they should be helping Singaporeans at large. National issues. And this is not just restricted to Arjuni.
It's not for me to go and define their duty. A lot of people from general in Singapore, of course,
I tell you, actually, I think the show of force in the rallies for Workers' Party going by 30,000-50,000 is a sign that, in general, the Singapore voter who is very much against an individual voter, everyone, I'm giving a singular here, that he wishes to see representation. He's entrusting his vote, his wish, his faith in that particular party that will win, or the candidates. And this time round, it's the nations as a whole, and not just Arjuni voters in showing show of support.
Yes, but then
that explains why the GRC in general,
the voting result fell short in every other area.
Yeah, but narrow margin. You talk about 43%. You just and also because I think the PM had apologized, and this could swing some votes. That
there are many factors that have unfairly swing the vote. For example, the ang pao.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that is also a big factor in making people undecided and say, give them one more time. That they have given the money, and you look at the average household getting $4,000 would be grateful, and beholden in some way and say, hey, I think they are good, they give us back our money. But it may be short-sighted, but it works.
Gratified.
Yeah,
this is corruption. You cannot forgive them for doing this.
Now, how you see a scenario, UncleYap? I'm gladdened by the fact that I think the opposition managed 6. Okay, now even by the show of this Workers' Party strength, it will grow in numbers, because I think ultimately I would also see candidates from other opposition party may have to cross over and enlarge the pool of Workers' Party.
Candidates cross parties all the time, and even the history show that after a great electoral win, for example, in 1992, 3 seats by SDP, and then suddenly, unfortunately, the party broke up, right? Mr. Chiam split out.
Otherwise, it could enlarge, it could expand, right?
Yes.
It's a natural kind of a progress that it will grow. So this time round is a good sign.
In fact, I was very worried in the whole time that before even the parliament was dissolved, that the opposition is going to make seats gain, and then the repetition of post-poll power shift fights and so on, that these things that they disagree, and but they endure and put up until the poll, after the poll will erupt. So I just have finger crossed that nothing too bad just to happen.
Three-corner thing, three-corner fights will be avoided and all that, to make way for unity, for stronger opposition show.
I think it's just for practical strategic figures. You see, we already seen that Mr. Desmond Lim lost his deposit. So it's lesson learned.
And also, so we can take the reading here that with the intake of, the injection of these opposition candidates, MPs into parliament, the future is brighter. There's a greater hope that more would join in.
Don't
will be emboldened.
No, it will be whatever the 6th seat then is gained right now. It's just a reflection of the general atmosphere and the trend. So then don't reverse it to say that because of the 6th seat, then
I think the momentum will grow. The entire next election
is a result. The result will encourage more, but then the whole trend have to continue. That the activism, the civil disobedience, and other form of expression, and organizing, and
of course, I'm not saying opposition will take a
preparation, and so on. All the fights in all sectors outside the parliament have to continue and have to step up, because we still fell short. We are still shortchanged. We are still not quite there. And today I have in my Chinese blog used 10 Chinese words from Mr. Sun Yat-sen's last words. His final slogan is 革命尚未成功，同志尚需努力. That means the fight is not over. The revolution is not succeeded yet, and you still have to continue the fight. You still have to try and strive. So this is the scenario that we have pulled down GRC.
It's only the first move.
We still have issues. The issues still not solved. The ministers are still drawing millions of dollars, and the junta of PAP, brigadier generals, admiral general, they are still there. Foreigners flooding in Singapore, they are still there. The unfair system, the lack of everything.
So can we just take that? Okay, but the PM had apologized, and he says he had promised to make
They can't change anything. It just indicate that they have been forced.
Okay,
that's all.
He had admitted to this setbacks.
No, I can tell you, PAP does not change. Family regime did not change. If we had the strength to push them and force them, like what they face today, if we had that 10 years ago, he would have apologized. But this apology means nothing. They are not backtracking. They are not going to half their salary tomorrow.
Let's wait and see, because I think if he had promised the PMD as a gentleman, if he were to say something like this, we look forward to see the changes he promised to make. And I'm not coming to the salaries, but let's see how the budget can be trimmed, instead of wasting so much money on the government that
I can tell you,
setbacks.
Lee Hsien Loong is not the primary person in family regime. If any real significant apology is to be made, Lee Kuan Yew have to come out, go home, ask him to go home and ask his father to come out and apologize to the people. And that would be more significant. Lee Kuan Yew, in 50, 60 years in political life, he had not apologized to Singaporeans at all. But when he's slapped by foreign government, he apologized to Malaysian government, to Indonesian government, but he never apologized to Singaporeans.
I think this time around, other than the PM Lee, Prime Minister, some other ministers have said, I think it was Mr. Josh Yeo who said that MM is MM, so...
Well, that little bit of thing...
they're drawing a line, so you don't want to mess up the whole thing again.
It is very inadequate. They are not regretting. They are not able to repent. They do not know what else to do. In the whole past, they have been the monopoly authoritarian regime that only in their position to bully the opposition, fix the opposition, make people bankrupt, arrest them in ISD. That kind of trick they do. Do they know at all how to be apologetic, be humble, to be realistic, to bow to the people, to respect the people?
Or they
don't
play a fair...
Absolutely not. It's not in their blood.
To have fair play. You are saying?
Yeah.
It's like in sports. You don't cheat to win.
That's what they are. It's in the gene. They are not going to be able to change by one election. No, don't be naive. They are only forced.
But meantime, I think
you are able. If you people do the right thing to force them, you get them to perform. If you are counting them down, they will bow down. That's all. Okay. That's what they are. They are not in their heart or in their culture.
Maybe we should end this on this note, because I think we can't see the future scenario until it takes place. So let's see how the PAP,
the encouraging aspects are already...
Let's see how they take off from there in the next parliament sitting, and see how our opposition heroes who have become MPs would take off from there and improve the lives and the aspirations of our electorate in Singapore.
Our people still have to do our own
voters
part.
will have to
continue
do our part,
and it is not over. It's not. Remember, I borrow Lee Kuan Yew's word. Don't be complacent just because of the 6 seats there.
Yeah.
We are still far from success, and continuous effort is needed.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.